Good morning, everybody. It's Vicki Hinze. Today I wanted to have this little informal chat and continue with the Inspire Me series. What I wanted to talk about today are 5 things that every writer should ignore. Now, you really, when you start writing, you really want to hear everything that other people have to say. After you've been writing a while, you discover that some of the things that are applicable to other people are not applicable to you. And so you have to be more discerning about what you take in and incorporate into your professional life and what you don't. And that can get confusing because, as I mentioned yesterday in part 1, very often the writing and we, the human beings, are so tightly interwoven that it's hard to separate one from the other. So today we need to focus on that separation and learning what to ignore and what to take in. The first thing that you need to learn to ignore is other people telling you what to write. Okay, the reason for that is many authors and agents and publishers have a need for a specific type book, and they'll want to drive you to that specific type book and have you write that book because publishers only buy books that they love and they can sell. It's a business, and you have to remember that. But for the creative side of you, you have to have that purpose for writing. It has to mean something to you. And when it doesn't, and your writing's chasing the market, then the work doesn't shine. It shows up, your lack of genuine enthusiasm shows up in a million ways in the work itself. So you want to be really careful about other people telling you what to write. I've always had this firm belief that God puts a desire in your heart. He also would never do that without also giving you the ability to and the skills, or a means to manifest those skills. He wouldn't do that if he didn't intend for you to write the books that are uniquely you. For example, once I was told you should write books like, and another author was named. Well, the first thing that came to my mind was, why? She's writing those books, but she can't write my books. The reason is that if you start out at exactly the same place with the same story as 5 other authors, you're going to end up with 5 entirely different books. That's because writing isn't about making a choice. It's about making a choice and then another and another and another. And no 2 authors are going to make the exact same choices every single time during an entire book. So the books that you write are uniquely you. They're uniquely yours. They are structured the way that your mind thinks. They are about the topics and the things that are important to you. The people in them, the characters, will react the way that you see those characters reacting. No other author can duplicate you. So be careful about being coached in what to write. Now, you will get some good advice. You will get a bright agent or a bright editor who says, your strength is suspense. When you write, you keep me on the edge of my chair. So I would recommend that you write to your strengths. Write to that suspense. That's advice worth hearing, and it's advice worth not only hearing but listening to, because that editor or that agent they're an educated entity who is trying to steer you not to a specific thing, but to your specific things, the places where you excel. So pay attention to that. What to write is much like life itself. You don't want to get to the end of it and realize that you've run somebody else's race, or that you have ignored the dreams in your heart to follow somebody else's dream. So it's really important that we start thinking about these things. Nobody likes to think about the end of their life or anything like that, but we really need to, and we need to think about what we want our body of work to represent. Shouldn't it be representative of you? You're the one who is going to be responsible and accountable for what you do. You're going to be the one who has to remain disciplined after you lose that initial fireball of enthusiasm that, in my experience, lasts about 3 chapters. If you're going to be the one making the sacrifices and doing all that's necessary for you to do in continuing to study craft and technique, and continuing to study the business, and continuing to keep up with all of the changes that are occurring, and trust me, they're at lightning speed. If you're going to do all of that, shouldn't you be doing it for you and writing to your purpose, writing what you feel you should be writing? Pay attention, listen to what you hear. Take the good, take what fits, but bear in mind that when you're old and gray and you're looking back, the race you want to run or to have run is your own race. I hope that something in this has been of help to you. Tomorrow or next time, we'll pick up with the second thing writers should ignore, and that is distractions. Until then, blessings.